And we're back with Ohio Republican Congressman Mike Turner. He joins us this morning from Dayton. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Margaret.
You served on the Armed Services Committee. Back in March, the Republican chair of it said the administration's not given enough detail. That was March. It's now July. Are you satisfied with what you're being told? Excuse me, it's August.
Well, I mean, yes. Still the administration could be sharing more with Congress. I don't think anybody's satisfied with the level of information that we're receiving, although it is a dynamic conflict. I think also that's true even as the administration is looking to its review, both in Europe, the conflict in Iran, the issues with Ukraine. Across the board, both the House and the Senate have registered that the Pentagon needs to be sharing more information with Congress.
Well, on Friday, out at Camp David, it was all on camera. The president's team gathered. They talked about initiatives they're working on. They all praised him. And Secretary Hegseth said Iran has shown no willingness to honestly negotiate. Here's what President Trump said. Listen.
I'm losing faith in them because they do lie and they do misrepresent. Well, the other day, the 5 missiles were shot. We knocked them down, but we were in the midst of a negotiation. Well, they always want to talk, but they break their word so often. They've been very dishonest. They've been very dishonorable to deal with, but that makes no difference.
So that was the president laying out why he doesn't trust diplomacy with Iran. Last night, he said there's a diplomatic opening and a deal may be within reach. Will you support it sight unseen? Are we at risk of the president cutting a flawed deal just to end this unpopular conflict?
Well, I don't think it's cutting a flawed deal. I mean, this is part of a process, obviously, of where Iran has to be in a position where, as the president has set out, the 2 goals, and that is, one, that they abandon their nuclear ambitions and certainly restarting their nuclear enrichment programs, and certainly the issues of an open Straits of Hormuz, and so that we return back to an open straits where commerce and the flow of oil and natural gas can resume.
So the war should continue until there is some diplomatic deal regarding the nuclear program? Because right now they're just talking about the Strait.
Well, it's not really. As you know, this began with Epic Fury, where the president went in, which we've described as an inevitable conflict as a result of where Obama left us with the watching until Iran began to get closer and closer to enough nuclear material to have an opportunity for a nuclear weapon. The International Atomic Energy Agency said that they were weeks away as a result of where they were left before Epic Fury. Then we have
in terms of enrichment capacity, not weaponization.
Well, yes. Well, they would have the opportunity to be able to do so. And then with the Straits, and they're closing the Straits, and then we had the memorandum of understanding where it looked as if they were going to come to a deal. And then now the president has been trying to enforce the opening of the Straits. Now, if Iran, where all metrics would show that Iran is in a position where they're going to have to come to a table, whether it's economics, whether it's energy production, whether it's the loss of critical infrastructure, military infrastructure, the loss of their military capabilities, all metrics would show a declining capability to continue. They're going to have to be in a position where ultimately they're going to have to concede to the opening of the Straits and returning to commerce.
Well, we'll see. The president said they're perimeters. I think he meant parameters of possible deal. But we'll track that diplomacy. Let me ask you, though, about what's happening on U.S. soil. The FBI warned cyber actors are attacking water utilities in at least 7 states. CBS is reporting that U.S. officials are probing to determine whether it's Iranian hackers behind it. They've done something similar back in 2023. President Trump was asked, and here's what he said.
You know who's behind it? Minnesota, because they're grossly incompetent. I think the governor's behind it. I don't think there was an Iranian cyber attack.
I know it takes a while to officially attribute an attack, but has Congress at least been told which states are impacted? Is Ohio? And is this an attack on U.S. soil amid a war?
Well, we certainly have not been informed at this time, but I think you've correctly pointed out, Margaret, that Iran has attacked our critical infrastructure previously. There have been reports, obviously, of China hacking and Russia hacking. Well, one thing that we have to acknowledge is that our adversaries, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, look at the critical infrastructure that support our civilian infrastructure, like water, are seen as valid military targets by our adversaries. And so these need to be monitored. They need to be hardened. These are things that we do not do, we would not do. And Iran certainly has been doing this well before this conflict. And this is something we certainly need to be aware of.
We're at
and we
war
need to
now,
be diligent. Well, we're certainly in a conflict where we would expect that they would continue that which they were doing to us before.
I want to get to a bit of politics. Out in Ohio, your colleague Max Miller, according to the latest court filing, he's been accused of domestic abuse. The court filing says he shoved his then wife, held a gun to her head, poured hot water on her, and had concerns he may have broken their 2-year-old daughter's collarbone, according to both police reports and court documents that were filed. He just went live in a social media stream and denied these allegations within the past hour. My question's not about his marriage or his personal life, but I'm asking about the politics here and the party. Should there be an ethics probe to look into this?
Well, Margaret, what you just said when you began this question is that this is a matter of litigation. This is best handled in a courtroom and not in a TV studio. And this is, that type of speculation is better for TMZ than CBS.
Well, we've covered with other lawmakers, including in the other party, the Democratic Party, credible allegations against people running for office. We take those allegations seriously. When it comes to Mr. Miller, he was previously accused in 2021 by President Trump's former spokesperson of abusing her when they dated. So given these two instances, is it at least something Republican leadership should look into?
Well, again, this is an issue that is currently part of a divorce and part of litigation that's in a courtroom. And the court should be handling this, which is clearly ongoing. And that's where this needs to be, not in a television studio.
So it doesn't matter to you?
It's not that it doesn't matter to me. This is where the court needs to handle this. The court has filings, which is what you just said. You were reading that there were court filings. Court needs to handle this issue as to whether or not it's the truth, and where truth will then be resolved, which is where things belong in a court, where people file papers in a court, as you just read.
So you want the court to handle it before Republican leadership looks into it?
This is litigation. This is a court matter, not a television matter.
Right, and not one for Republican leadership is what I hear you saying.
I've said to you that this is not one for you and I to handle in a television studio. This is one that's in court.
Okay, we handle these allegations seriously regardless of the political party. And these are not media allegations, as you said. They're court documents. Congressman Miller claimed it was a media construct.
And it's being handled in court, which is where it belongs.
I got it. You don't want to comment. I understand. In terms of your portfolio on armed services, I do want to ask you about what has happened within the past few days. Russia fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at Kyiv. Only one of them was intercepted. President Zelensky said that's because there are no interceptors left. I know you've asked the president to allow for him to be able to produce Patriots. We had thought there was a breakthrough. However, President Trump seemed to backtrack on that Friday. He said, quote, "We're talking about it, but it's a hard thing to do, to give away that kind of technology." Is it on track or is it not? Are we letting Ukraine license Patriot interceptor production?
Right. Well, the actual quote that he said, he was talking in that paragraph, he was talking about Tomahawks and Patriots. They also went on to say that the negotiations were ongoing. It is very, very difficult on Patriots, which are defensive. In the quote, actually, it included Tomahawks, which are also offensive. I do think that there are ongoing negotiations concerning providing a broader opportunity for Ukraine to have access to Patriot technology, to be able to have production and defensive technology. This is going to be very important both for allies and for Ukraine. This technology, because it has become so central around the world, because missile technology is proliferating, so defensive technology needs to proliferate. We have the most advanced technology, and there is high demand for it. And the president stepping up and saying that we need to look to being able to license this technology is really going to be important both for Ukraine, our allies, and really, I think, for the United States.
But you think it's still in process?
I think it's still in process, and I think it's incredibly important, and I encourage the president and the Pentagon to move as swiftly as possible to ensure that Ukraine can, every night there are people who die in Ukraine because Russia is sending missiles into Ukraine and hitting defenseless civilians, not military targets, but defenseless civilians. There was outcry because a missile landed in a field in Poland. But every night there are missiles that land on people and kill them in Ukraine. We need to help them.
Yes, understood. And NATO did call out those instances. We have to leave it there. Congressman Turner, we'll be right back.